Welcome back to the Slakur Trades Weekly Outlook, the week of July 27th. Every so often, the calendar compresses a month of catalysts into two sessions, and this is one of those weeks. A live Fed decision on Wednesday, then Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon all reporting within about 24 hours of it. And the NASDAQ Qs are sitting less than $2 above its support line, with the VIX holding under 20, and retail traders showing some signs of panic selling. Someone is going to be wrong this week. Start with the index board. The S&P closed at 739, the NASDAQ at 684, the Russell at 291, and all three still read range-bound in our models. Expected weekly moves are about $10.50 on the S&P, $17.50 on the NASDAQ, and $5.50 on the Russell. Here's the detail that matters. QQQ support sits at 682.48, less than $2 below Friday's close. When the cushion is $2 and the expected move is $17.50, the range doesn't get to stay ambiguous much longer. Now the setup. The tape earned some nervousness. Thursday, the S&P fell 1.2%, its worst single session in a month, and individual investors are the most bearish they've been since mid-June. And yet the VIX sits at just 18.5, pricing a pretty ordinary week. Somebody's wrong. Meanwhile, QQQ closed $1.75 above its support line, and the Fed decision could bring volatility back into the picture, with about 1 in 3 odds of a hike on the table because of oil. Here's the gauntlet. Wednesday at 2, the Fed, with roughly 1 in 3 odds of a quarter-point hike. That's too high to ignore and too low to be priced in. Press conference at 2:30. Then Microsoft and Meta report after that same close. Microsoft is the first hyperscaler answer to the AI CapEx question, and Meta reports into a sector already bleeding from the Alphabet sell-off. Thursday morning brings second quarter GDP, and Thursday night it's Apple and Amazon. Apple needs 20% earnings growth to meet the bar, and Amazon carries the market's weakest sector on its back. The calendar view. Monday is quiet, just cadence after the close. Wednesday is the event, Fed decision at 2, press conference at 2:30. Microsoft and Meta after the bell. Thursday, GDP in the morning and Apple and Amazon at night. And Friday might be the sneaky one. June PCE, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, lands 2 days after the decision. Friday is also weekly, an end-of-month options expiration, so the options market has volatility coming its way. While everyone stares at tech, the rotation has been loud. Energy is the best sector in the market, up more than 11% in a month, riding crude's run toward $100. Healthcare is second, and utilities just put in the second strongest week, a classic defensive tell. The other side, consumer discretionary, technology, and communication services. That's a textbook risk-off rotation, out of last cycle's leaders and into hard assets and defensives. We flagged energy as the leader last week, and it finished the week ranked number 1 of 11 sectors. Here are some tickers you should watch this week. Energy twice, XLE itself as the rotation leader, and Exxon, which is expected to report Friday with crude near multi-year highs. Microsoft, Wednesday night, the first AI CapEx answer. Amazon, Thursday night, carrying the weakest sector in the market. Eli Lilly on the defensive side, it's leading the healthcare rally on GLP-1 momentum, and it does not report this week, so it trades on rotation flows, not an earnings gamble, and a SPY to anchor it all. Range-bound regimes reward patience, and this one has told us exactly where its boundaries are. 682.48 on QQQ is the line. $1.75 below Friday's close, with an expected move 9 times that size. We'd rather react to how that level resolves after the Fed and the mega cap prints than predicted in advance. The rotation into energy and defensives is already paying, so that's where we lean while growth proves itself. And keep that sentiment gap in mind. Retail is nervous, options are calm, and one of them is about to be right. The bottom line. QQQ either defends 682.48 through the Wednesday-Thursday gauntlet, or it doesn't, and we'd rather react to that answer than predict it. The rotation into energy and defensives is already paying, and that's where we lean while growth proves itself. Trade the premium, not the prediction. Head to slakertrades.com for more, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss next week's list, and don't forget to smash that like button. We'll see you again next week.